Away we go.
Style and grace, I'm never gonna be done. Lean on in. Now welcome to the queendom. Where the kings bow down.
Oi. Well. Thought
The
everybody
women
got
will be
their fill.
making history again.
Thought everybody got their fill of this song last night, but we're playing it again. Don't worry, she's not coming out to yell at us. Even though that's usually what happens. Oh yeah, of course you would.
I'd have her yell at me.
Ryan wants to be dominated by Stephanie Man. She has to wear the BDSM costume she wore when she wrestled the Bella sister.
I was going to say maybe the WrestleMania gear from...
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Oh,
okay. He's put too much thought into this. But of course, we are the War Report, brought to you by TagMeDate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for wrestling fans. And the reason we play Stephanie McMahon's music, as Steve mentioned, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. Very interesting development.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting because they finally have enough women on the roster to warrant doing this. It's great.
And not only that, but there's so many women that could potentially make a surprise.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard what the rumor is now?
Well, I heard Trish is a rumor.
Right, but the rumor for the winner.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
I didn't hear a rumor.
It's not Asuka, as
Ronda
you would
Rousey.
assume. Ronda Rousey.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
I heard
okay
that
with
earlier
that,
today.
I'm okay with that because you know what? It'll be a surprise entrant. She'll get the win. That'll give her momentum to go into Mania. It starts the road. I think it's perfect. Listen, you guys, this was one of the things that came up in the chat earlier, and you guys were all talking about Asuka, and if she loses the Rumble, does that mean her undefeated streak is over? As far as I'm concerned, the undefeated streak only means something one-on-one.
Yeah, like
Yes.
Edge with the Money in the Bank match.
Right. So if it's a tag team, if it's a battle royal, if it's a Royal Rumble, a ladder match, anything like that, she loses, her undefeated streak is still intact.
I feel like that has to be the case, man. I don't. You can't count. Like they even did with Goldberg. It was like he would be in a tag match if he didn't get pinned or the other guy won, or there was whatever it was. They would keep it alive. It should really only be for singles matches. Especially a Rumble. There's such a low percentage chance of you winning. Why would you? If you were trying to maintain a streak, why would you?
Like a triple threat. If you're the one that didn't get pinned, but you didn't win, but you didn't lose either,
Yeah, it's like kissing your sister, as they say.
And one other thing I wanted to bring up
Almost
too.
doesn't count.
This was also a part of the chat earlier. Eric posed a question, just a devil's advocate kind of thing, with an idea of, what was it, Eric? It was ultimately being a unification of the titles, or it was
just a possibility.
Eric's the devil. He's trying to put up all these scenarios.
Here's my thing. I think now you can't unify the titles and have the women on one roster. And the reason I say that is because now there's so many, and there's so many that are really good that you want to have them be displayed every week. But if the roster's too big, there's going to be a lot of women that are left out. Yeah. And you're not going to see them as much. So you need the separate brands now to be able to get more of the women out there.
Sorry, I had to. I'm about to kung fu fight something. I don't know what's happening.
I don't either. So
that was okay.
No, that's definitely a good point. But I just think that they need to create things for the women to do besides just the title. They need to have separate programs from the title too.
Well, one thing I'm thinking is that now the women's roster is getting big enough where after the Rumble, there's only one other thing you can do women's women's tag team championship belts, and do a tournament, put some of the women together. Listen, you'll be able to get more of the women over, some of the ones that aren't used as much. Vince, you're making a cringe face. But I don't think it's terrible.
Because remember when TNA did it, and then the titles ended up on Eric Young and ODB?
All right, fair enough. But you know what? I have to hope that with Triple H and Stephanie and Shane.
Yeah, you'd hope.
Yeah.
Something tells me James Ellsworth is going to be in this fucking women's
Right.
rumble. He's got to come out.
Harvey Whippleman.
He should win. Honestly, you know what?
Where was that meme with the 30th entry is Roman Reigns in a wig?
It's Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I think
She looks pretty.
Jane Ellsworth or Jill Ellsworth should win the women's
Jane
Royal Rumble.
See, but
Jane
now,
Ellsworth would be such a good gimmick.
see, now here's one other thing too, because there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, because we know that history is being made once again. Is it going to be a 20 or a 30? Is it going to be exactly the same rules as it would be with the men? This is going to now take up a lot of time on the card as well.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Well, normally
to see how they're
women's
gonna-
matches usually women's matches they go through the middle rope.
Yeah, and
You don't have to get them over the top rope
Yeah, it
in
was
most
just
of the
you have to
battle
throw
royals.
them out. Yeah.
That's a good point. So now are they going to change it? And is it going to be over the top? So there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered. If it's going to be SmackDown and Raw, are we going to have where, the last
NXT.
person standing gets to choose which brand title they want to go for at Mania,
The only way this works is if they make it exactly like the men's Rumble.
Yeah.
If they don't, it's going to look like, the women, the girls can't go over the top rope, and the girls don't have 30 men, but the girls can only pick one title. It has to be the same. Title 9. Title 9. I know you're not from the US, Amanda, but Title 9 in collegiate sports means there should be an equivalent sport with equivalent rules between the sexes.
Now there's a new internet rumor going. Now there's a new internet rumor now that Brie Bella's going to be back for it as well.
That'd be
They got to have a Bella in there, I think.
I have Nick too in there.
or else the ring would collapse in on itself.
Well, I think they need representation.
Karma comes back to kill them both.
Yo, you know what?
Yeah.
If the rumor
I'm okay
if the
with that.
rumor is true about one of the inductees for this year in the Hall of Fame, I could see Ivory being a surprise in this Royal Rumble.
That would be awesome.
Well, we're going to get Stratisfaction. We are definitely going to get Stratisfaction. She's
What about
coming.
I don't
Victoria?
recognize her with her brown hair.
What
I
about
think
Victoria?
It
Does
would be
Victoria
wonderful.
come back?
It would be wonderful if they had representation of all the different eras of women's wrestling that are obviously still alive. So if Medusa,
As long as they
Medusa
can
could come
wrestle.
out and take it, right? Yeah, as long as they could work. If Medusa would be
I
okay
want
with
no
it.
Tori Wilsons or Barbie Flanks
No, but
or
think
Eve
that-
Marie Torres's.
But think about that era of the women. The good wrestlers were Ivory, Victoria, Jazz, Trish, Lita, Molly,
Gail.
Gail. So there's Gail just retired from TNA. That's a perfect opportunity. She could
Jacqueline.
come in. So if they had representation of these are some Attitude Era women, and these are some, the whatever the ruthless aggression for the 2000s, whatever they call them, and then there's the network era, whatever reality era, and you have representation all along. NXT, it's a real good opportunity, especially if they go to 30, because then they have to go to 30. It gives
They
it,
have
Yeah, they have to.
Right.
What if we got Austin Kong?
if Karma came back, I would be so happy.
That'd be a great show off between her and Asuka.
They'd never do it,
Yes.
but she should come out as
Or
well.
her and Nia.
That or Nia.
Come out
too.
as welfare queen from Glow.
Yes.
Yep.
Throwing around the food stamps. Oh,
That would be a chant. You know that would be a chant no matter what she came out as.
the WWE Universe coming alive for Karma. Welfare queen. Welfare queen.
Welfare queen.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's all the women in NXT as well. So
What was that?
there is enough between all three rosters and other people coming back. There's enough for 30 to do
Yeah.
30.
Absolutely. I
They
think
Do we
More
think
than
it opens
30.
the show?
they could.
Does it open the Rumble?
Probably.
That
Well,
would be timing wise. I think that's the way to do it. One at the beginning, one at the end, because
Yeah,
otherwise
you have to give that much
you got to
separation.
space them out. Because
You
if
gotta
they're right
space
in a
them
row, yeah. Because the one way or the other, one of them is going to get shit on. If the women go first and blow the doors off the place, and then you have to sit through another hour Rumble, and then fucking Roman Reigns wins, they're just going to burn down whatever building they're in.
Everything.
And then the last question I had was, like Vince, you brought up that would kind of suck if the champions weren't in it because they're so good that they should be. But
Yeah.
at the same time, if the prize is the title match, how do you have the champion in it?
Then they just challenge for, like you said, they challenge for the other title. Maybe you spin it as a unification if she wins, but then that kind of means the heel or whoever it is has to win.
Also, could be just a champion versus champion thing too.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can get a rematch of that, like you did from Survivor Series.
And then we'll have that picture of Charlotte holding all the belts like Triple H with he had the World Heavyweight Championship and then the Divas Butterfly belt and the tag team. That'll just be Charlotte with all the women's belts.
He'll be like Ultimo Dragon with all like 8 championships.
You know, I've only seen this happen one time before with tag team titles, and it was really interesting. I think it was Progress Wrestling in the UK. They had like a yin and a yang. So the belts were not exactly identical, but they were like yin yang, so they would lock together. Like you could lock them together. So it's almost like a chart, like one of those, like the broken heart thing. Yeah. So yes, and I think that would be kind of a cool thing if the women's belt was like half the WWE logo on one side and half it on the other side, and when they put it together, they're
like best friends necklaces.
They're like their Wonder Twin powers activate.
Remember what Lee Cool did with they cut the belt in like kind of like in half, and then
that's something like that would be great. Just to shake it up a little bit. I know they want to stay consistent with the Shield style logo branding on front, but I think they should mix it up a little bit. All the belts are starting to look the same.
Okay, here's one last question for that regarding that. If the women's champions do have separate matches on that card, who would you rather have like throwaway opponents for them? That way, more quality women could be in the Rumble. Like, do you give like Dana Brooke a shot so that way she's
maybe couldn't their opponents fight twice? Can't they be in the Rumble and have a match?
Yes and no, because they're using that to keep they're keeping Braun out of the Rumble match by giving him a title shot. So I think they'd be keeping. Yeah, I know. We should. It's a sore subject all around.
If you're doing Dean versus Brock for the first time ever, shouldn't it be 1-on-1?
Yes.
Yeah. But that's I think they're going to keep them apart. Kane is in there to keep them apart until WrestleMania. Hopefully.
Yeah. Kane's there to eat the pin.
Yes, that too.
You know, I just thought of something. Braun could end up if he's not in the Rumble because of this, he could still win the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, or he could just beat Kane and win the WWE Championship, and then Brock isn't pinned, and then Brock is mad, and when Brock gets mad, he starts like ripping doors off of cars. So that could be good too.
Well, don't forget also too, just because Braun's in this match doesn't necessarily mean he may not still end up in the Rumble if he doesn't win, because that's happened in the past too. Someone's lost a match during the show and still ended up in the Rumble.
Like Roman Reigns, yeah. It happened with Reigns.
I know, but I'm just going to give you that look anyway.
Generally, though, like
Amanda, get on Tinder and start sucking up to Braun so that he gets in the match.
Oh, don't worry. Next week they're in Toronto. I'm all over
Does
that.
she have magic sucking powers?
What?
You said suck up to Braun so he wins, and I'm like, well, how does this work?
I was gonna say I missed you guys, but
so one more thing about the women's Rumble. Regarding the two champions, maybe they could have a non-title match at the Royal Rumble. That's Alexa versus Charlotte, champion versus champion, as kind of you got a showcase match for them since you aren't in the Rumble.
Right, and then maybe Alexa could get her win back. From Survivor Series.
I don't know if you caught this. Charlotte's last name is Flair. She's not getting that win back.
Yeah, or who her father thinks is the greatest ever.
She's up. I think Charlotte is making a case for. Yeah,
she is.
Charlotte proves it.
She's up there, but I don't think she's the very best yet. She's still got a couple more years.
No, I think she's got a couple years to go to prove. Like if she can stay in and stay at the same quality she's at, absolutely she can.
Even her mic work is a little bit better.
Oh, it's gotten better. Yeah.
Well, she's on how many title reigns? She's trying to get the 16 in a year.
She's close.
Seriously, she was.
I'd like her to hold it.
Yeah, what? Like between NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, this is like what title reign number 6?
Probably, but I don't
Ryan's
I think when they count
It's
world
Ryan's
titles,
fact checking.
yeah, they don't count the NXT title as a world title. I don't think so.
No.
They'll just count. They would just count the Raw, the Divas, the Women's, and then the Raw and the SmackDown for
But
women's
still,
world titles. And
it's
the
got to be at
NWA.
least up there, at least 6 titles, at least.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she's definitely.
It is 6. If you
There you
include the NXT 7.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Yeah, she's
Not that
definitely.
far off.
Not
So,
really.
Without even.
Clash of Champions.
Yes. Clash of Champions. And speaking of something that we didn't think was going to happen.
Well, definitely show the world.
I'm okay with being wrong.
Loving it.
Yeah, I think we're all okay with being wrong. As much as Bobby Roode winning would be wonderful.
Never
and I
crossed
love
my
Bobby.
mind for 1 second
Yeah,
that Dolph
none of
was
us.
going to win, which made it that much better.
I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why they
Yeah.
did it that way. Nobody was expecting. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. You know, they got him
And his music played.
right.
Now, here's the question. Did they put the title on him so that he resigns?
Probably.
We ask this every single time they do this. You know.
He
Yeah.
buys it every time.
I hope he has a run, but I really think that Bobby Roode's taking it. Although Baron, I guess, gets a rematch.
That's probably going to be Rumble.
Yeah, that'll be tonight, right?
Oh, it might be.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on where they want to go with it. They could drag it out to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I had proposed a thing where you get Ziggler versus Rude. I mean, no, not Ziggler versus Corbin versus Rude for the #1 contendership, and then that person goes on to face Dolph for the title, and then that's when Rude wins the title at Mania.
I don't think we're getting it tonight. It's a title
An extended.
Can we talk about the most important thing about Clash of Champions, though?
Mhm.
Amanda
Ginger's
picked Breezango.
Oh, well, you know what? I root for the underdog too, but not when I'm betting.
Heart.
I went with my heart.
Sorry, Amanda. I love you, honey, but
I mean, look, they could have got a
Sorry about your damn luck.
I would. You can make a good case for the Bludgeon Brothers getting disqualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
See?
they didn't
Okay.
The
lose.
Bludgeon Brothers,
let's
I
go
like.
with that was Amanda's theory. That Amanda's theory was it was going to be via DQ.
Wait,
Okay.
no. Now we need to know: did you expect one of Breezango to pin one of the Bludgeon Brothers, or what did you think the
I
finish was
actually
going to
don't
be?
know why I wrote that. Now that I'm thinking about it,
That's all right. And we just, we're not judging you. It's
Amanda doesn't care as long as
sounds a
Jinder,
little judgy.
as long as Jinder loves it.
in your bones.
Yeah, as long as
Amanda-
you saw what I wrote. I said AJ Styles or I quit. Everything.
Amanda, from one sister wife to another, I'm not judging.
So I guess we should, since you mentioned friends of the show, we'll go ahead and do our multiple shout outs right now, because first of all, we'll go back a week or two, and congratulations to Greek God Papadon and Bin Hameen. The Conspiracy Horsemen picked up the Dynasty Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships in upstate New York
Nice.
a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And so they're representing. They beat Pretty and Gritty. Well, I know both of those guys as well. So it was a good match, and of course our friends the Conspiracy Horsemen picked up the titles, which is awesome. Kat tagged someone and said we should give him a shout out, and of course, I think we're probably all fans of this guy, Van from
I love Van.
from Hell's Kitchen.
Yo, so we learned a lot today because I had no idea that was all the same fan. I didn't know that Gangrel and Luna, and I didn't know all that. And I'm a big fan of Van. I was pissed that he got kicked off the show.
Me too,
Now
but
is he like on the second chance thing, or is he just done?
No,
for now?
he's done. He's done. But he is the eldest son of Luna Vachon, and his stepfather is David Gangrel Heath. Yep.
Wow.
That's cool.
Well, I'm a big fan of his, and it would be
And
awesome to have him
if-
come
we'll-
on.
we'll
Follow,
have-
tag me a date, do something.
Yeah, because we can have him come on, talk a little bit about TV.
Find himself a black girl, because that's what he was gunning for on the show. He was flirting with Elise and Barbie big time.
I have a feeling you and him have a lot in
That's
common.
his daughter in that. That's his daughter in that picture, Eric. That's in the picture that I posted with everything. That's his daughter.
That's Van's daughter?
That's Van's
Wow.
daughter. Yep, that's his oldest daughter. Yep.
Huh. The more you know.
Yeah, so
My
we
boy,
should do.
between Van and Robin. Those are my two people.
So
Yes,
Van
Robin's
has
awesome.
an official open invitation to come on the show anytime he would like,
Absolutely.
and talk not just Hell's
Absolutely.
Kitchen, but growing
He's
up.
a freaking legacy, man.
Yeah, exactly. Growing up
You know?
with Luna and Gangrel and the stories about that, and it's such a sad story. Like, I hate that she died.
His grandmother wrestled too, Vivian Vachon.
Yeah, and I hate that
And
Sherry.
Mad Dog and
Yeah, Mad Dog. I mean,
Maureen.
he's down the
Yep.
line of everybody. But I just the women's wrestlers that passed away too early, like Sherry and Luna. Those are tragic, real tragic cases. I just every time I watch an old video with like sensational Sherry and the Macho Man with Zeus or something, it's like, God, what do we? Could you imagine the table for three with Luna, Sherry, and Lita or something like that? You know, like it would.
Wow.
And even if you wanted to
you
dig up
imagine if
Moolah
there
or
was-
something, that would be a good table for three.
Anyone catch the
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if there? Yeah. Can you imagine if there was a table for three now between Sherry, Randy, and Elizabeth?
Ooh, yeah.
That would be like
Hey.
the best table for three ever.
I love it.
What about Macho Man, Sting, and Hogan?
Yeah.
Which one of you is picking up the check? Ooh, yeah.
I mean, Dustin and Cody would have been a good one.
Oh, that would have been a great table for three. Yeah.
that would be cool.
Shit.
If you had a table
Missed
for
out on
three
that
with
one, too.
Hogan and Savage sitting at it, it'd be like an episode of Real Housewives, and Teresa flips
Oh
the
my
table.
God.
Hogan, Savage, and Elizabeth.
Yeah, those two would have. I don't know how they would have gotten along in the later years for a table for three. You know, you'd hope
That
they
wouldn't have
would
been
all
a
work
table. That would be flipping the flip. It's not tables for three. It's flipping tables for three.
Upside down table for three.
There you go.
There you go.
And then four people can sit at it because of the.
Yeah. There you go.
See, Kat got that one too. I noticed she put her hand on her head.
I gotta stick up my ass. Hang on a second.
Right? That's how you get four people to sit there. I won't tell that joke. We'll get thrown off YouTube.
Notice I'm wearing a Macho Man shirt too. By the
I
way,
saw that. That was a good choice.
It's an awesome shirt.
Yeah. Oh,
I had a
so how about
conference today? I had to represent.
nice? That's a good T-shirt to wear. The print. So you
That was one
send them
oh, right
the
there.
right away. They know what they're dealing with.
That way the teacher knows who's coming for your daughter. Hey, there's
Right.
the one who drop kicked that kid.
Exactly.
Oh God,
I didn't
yeah,
have
that's
to
right.
see that parent today. Thank God. Parent today. Thank
Oh, that
God.
would have been awkward.
I have managed to avoid that woman like the plague the entire school year. I'm still waiting to catch up with that chick. And then there'll be another tables, ladders, and chairs match because I'll be finishing what my daughter didn't.
Yep.
Wow.
You could do a tag team. You and your daughter versus them.
Yeah, right?
Shh, we don't want her to get kicked out of the school district.
It's on Bluetooth. It's okay. She
Okay.
can't hear. She's FaceTiming in another room.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like, I don't want this to get back to the PTA, and then all of a sudden
I'm
you're
not
the
calling you. Get out of here.
wrestling champion of the PTA.
Yeah, it's not Harper Valley PTA.
The
it's
PTA
WWE
women's
PTA.
champion.
What did everybody
that'd
think
be
of Clash of Champions? Like, in
With
general?
my 4-inch pythons.
There you go. Yeah, I thought Clash of Champions was a pretty decent pay-per-view. I don't think
I enjoyed it.
there was no issues with it. That's for sure.
I liked it.
At all.
Other
There
than
were a
Ginger.
lot of people online shitting on it, saying it was a glorified SmackDown, but I thought all around it was a.
I liked it.
Shit on everything. It's so
But it's a
annoying.
SmackDown pay-per-view. It's
You
supposed to
hate everything.
like I didn't
Take fun of something. Everyone does it. Then you get into it.
right. I thought the compelling storyline would be Sammy and Kevin getting fired, and then the fallout from that, because that then they could like show up. Daniel Bryan buys them front row tickets, and then they're sitting in the crowd instead. There's all kinds of ways they could have done it. Or somebody suggested they get fired and both come back in El Generico masks.
Oh, jeez.
Have Daniel Bryan sign El Generico.
Right, it would be like El Generico and his brother El Blanco Canadian or something like that. Just come in and they'd be great, and then eventually get unmatched like the Mr. America deal. But Daniel Bryan, what are we doing here? Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, people are falling over. Guys with fucking fused necks are taking bumps and getting hit in the eye. What is going on?
Setting up for Mania.
Are we setting up for Daniel Bryan against Shane McMahon at WrestleMania?
That's what it's starting to feel like.
Jesus Christ. Like, I almost hope it's a 6-man just so Daniel Bryan doesn't go out there and fucking kill himself because he wants
That's
to.
officially Vince's bathroom break.
Maybe we'll build up another huge structure so Daniel Bryan and Shane.
I'd actually be into a 6-man.
Right, it would be. Yeah, I think a 6-man would be good if Shane found 2 guys with him, because then it would limit Shane having to work, because he's not a wrestler, and as my mom would say, emphasizing things twice. I mean, he is, but he's not. Like, he wrestles, but he's not a full-time
brawler.
wrestler. Yeah,
high spots guy.
But I think
someone could use the rub.
Right. Somebody could use the rub as like the new, not authority, bring back the corporation. I don't know, but
that'd be fun.
But then it limits Daniel Bryan's time in the ring, because I don't think you want him out there wrestling a 20-minute match, just coming back, because he's gonna want to do the dive to the outside.
Yeah,
I heard he was trying to eliminate that.
Good, because I've never seen him do that dive where he doesn't smash his head against the barricade. The first time he did it was on NXT against Chris Jericho in WWE, and he smashed right into the commentary table. Wham! And then I saw him do it at WrestleMania 29. Wham! And I'm like, shit, that time at WrestleMania 29, there was a section of the audience that thought he died. You just see, he hit it and just went, boom. And he slid, like you could see gravity stuck him to the wall a little bit, and he slid down like a cartoon character.
Like, someone like Hernandez would do that, and then he'd land on his feet.
Hernandez is extremely athletic. Remember when he would border toss people across the ring?
Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy. But it does feel like Daniel Bryan's going to be involved somehow, whether he's going to wrestle or be on Sammy and Kevin's side. I don't know. There's some shenanigans there.
The heel, though, is it Shane or is it Bryan that's portrayed as the heel? Could be either way, really.
It really could, because Daniel Bryan kind of comes off as the heel because he's not really siding with what's. Sammy and Kevin are acting like bad guys, even though they're saying correct things.
But they're coming over. They're getting over.
Right. They're like anti-hero. Yeah. So it's
they're the revolution.
And Sammy's been so funny
movement,
sarcastic dancing and shit like that,
Yeah.
I need to see him go face again, like immediately.
Sarcastic dancing. I didn't know there was such a thing until he did it.
Dancing. It's my new favorite thing.
Of course there is. Alex Wright. Of course there's such a thing as sarcastic dancing.
I don't know about you, but I heard down in Atlanta, Georgia, every time he did that, the ladies in the front row got pregnant. Who can't resist this dance? Fucking, what the fuck was that?
A white man dancing. That's exactly what it was.
Awful German.
Yeah, that's how we dance in Germany. All right. So the Yep movement. Yeah, you see, that would have been a thing if they had. Oh, geez, here you go. You have Alex Wright as Berlin. You have the Wall. You had Blitzkrieg, who was the masked wrestler in WCW. They were all there. And then if you put him with David Hasselhoff and he sings "Hooked on a Feeling" in German while they come to the ring, yeah,
coming out in Knight Rider. If they come out in Knight,
they have to come out.
Rider.
Yes, a Knight Rider with a German flag on the front. Yeah. Even they'd be like Kit, and Kit would be like Ich ein Berliner.
Hi from Dusseldorf.
Do you know who the voice of Kit is? Let's see if you guys know your TV trivia.
Oh, jeez.
No.
William Daniels.
I barely know who Kit is.
Mr. Feeney is the voice of Kit.
Oh yeah, and John Adams.
See, I know the voice
Attention, Mr. Matthews.
Rhoda's doorman was Alonzo Music, who was the original voice of Garfield and one of the original Ghostbusters.
Yes, but if you ever to watch now Boy Meets World, close your eyes when Mr. Feeney's talking. You will hear Kit.
That's
wonderful. No, it's him.
So the Yep movement thing, I got to address this real quickly because a couple of us have a mutual friend and his name is the One Man Thrill Ride, Jimmy Preston. And while it's distinct by one letter, he uses yup, and he's been using for several years, and he'll say something like,
So true.
We're going to take some protein. Yep. We're going to go to the gym. Yep. We're going to lift weights. Yep. And I'm like sitting here.
Yep.
So, yeah, the scrambies. Hold the chi. Yep. And I see, and he does the thing, and I'm like, wait a minute. He needs to receive some residuals from this shit. It's one letter off. I don't like it.
Well, apparently Dave Hester is actually complaining.
Oh, he should. He did it too. And it's one letter. They're going to say it's yup, but.
To Dave Hester, and Dave Hester said, "Tell Vince I want my check in the mail."
Now, Vince McMahon should do this. He should yell, "All right, we've got your money." And he has a check. And he goes, "Or you can have what's in the garage." Make the guy pick between whatever's in the garage and the check.
Let's make a
and then
deal.
through the reality show. And he opens up the garage, and it's like Vince McMahon's old Corvette filled with concrete and like all this other stuff that's completely.
It's just a big
DX bus that exploded.
Yeah, the
bedpan that Austin hit him in the head with,
Right, the bedpan.
The garage then.
One Sacco, an autographed 8x10 of The Rock.
Your core title.
Dude, I'd buy that garage. I want that locker.
But that would be like a not pressure luck. What's the game? Let's make a deal. Yeah.
Let's make a deal.
Yeah.
Pressure luck. No whammy. No whammy. No whammy.
Tag title match.
What title match?
The tag title match. The Fatal 4-Way. Oh my God, those guys brought it.
Oh my God, that was a great.
I think that was my favorite match of the night.
Chad Gable. That's all I gotta say. Chad Gable.
Amazing.
God damn.
Yep.
It's a shame we don't have American Alpha.
Right?
I like American Alpha version 2.0.
It is good, but it's still funny that Jason Jordan is doing this thing.
I heard they might be called Game Day, which I kind of like.
You know what though? Jason Jordan's killing it every fucking week. His matches have been unbelievable.
His matches are he's always kind of had that. He had the athleticism. He's getting into the swing of thing with the wrestling, but also once they decided to turn the character from just being like a goody two shoes smiley baby face into like an entitled brat kind of character.
He's definitely a tweener now. Definitely.
That's perfect because it taps into the fans don't. We all acknowledge that this is a show, but when Jason Jordan comes out and they say that Kurt Angle is his dad, you kind of go, listen, you know it's fake, but there's fake and then there's fake, right? So they're playing into it and kind of fans didn't buy into it 100%, so he's turned it into being like a tweener heel thing. Dad, I'm entitled, and he uses that at the end of his sentences. It's like, I want that new iPod Touch for Christmas, Dad. You know what I mean? Like that's how he's saying shit. So it's
Daddy. So that was great.
Perfect. Like that's
he's gonna ask for that gun in a Christmas story.
The Red Ryder BB gun.
Yes.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
They're gonna put an eye out.
By the way, did you guys see a Chris Miz story?
Oh no, I heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Hysterical. Where the Miz plays like the like all the like important roles in that show, and then at the end when he's got the mouth full of soap, he blames it on Zack Ryder, and his mom calls Zack Ryder's mom.
Oh, Zack Ryder instead of a Red Ryder. Womp womp. Did you see they're doing a live action version of A Christmas Story?
It happened already on Sunday. It fucking sucked. I turned it off after 20 minutes.
See, I was curious. I thought it was going to be good.
They made it a musical. They made it a musical.
Oh no, no. Just do the story.
I turned it off for the sound of music.
Why wouldn't they just do the story, but live action? They had all these. They had Jane Krakowski. They had a bunch of good actors in this thing. I'm disappointed that stunk. Maya Rudolph was in it.
Yeah, and no disrespect when I say this, but they made like a 20-minute Hanukkah sequence in it as well because they had to include everyone. Not that I have anything against out of the Hanukkah thing. I'm not trying to sound like a bitch. It doesn't belong in A Christmas Story.
No.
And that's coming from Jewish people, so I'm staying out of this one. I'm being completely impartial.
I'm just saying, it didn't belong. It's called A Christmas Story. It doesn't belong in it.
Why do we have
and it wasn't a boot.
Every fucking thing. God damn.
Yeah, go
And
watch
the
the new
lamp-
Star Wars movie and count how many women characters. There are more women humans than there are aliens in this new Star Wars movie. Which usually it's
lamp-
mostly aliens, and now it's
And now
all.
it makes sense, especially the purple
And
hair.
then
I didn't
Don't-
understand what was
actually
going on.
had a
So.
boot. And just so you know, Vince, the lamp actually had a boot. It was not a sexy leg, which
See, that's
blew that
not
completely
that's not
too.
cool because
What?
I have a little
There's a
one of those
boot?
that somebody gave me.
Come
And
on.
it's a major
boot.
award.
Mhm.
Because I guess it was too much for it to be on TV at 7 o'clock at night. I have no idea.
They show that movie for
What?
24 hours straight on TBS once a year.
Yeah.
I know. What can I say? Fox blew it. Sorry.
Yeah, they did that with the other live action stuff too, right? Like their Sound of Music wasn't that good, their Grease wasn't that
Well,
good.
that was on NBC.
Oh, that was
The-
NBC.
The Grease one was pretty good, but the
I
Sound
like
of
the
Music
Grease
one
one.
was awful.
Wow. See, and I like
Here's-
all of those shows. Yeah.
The Peter Pan one was the tank. Christopher Walken was drunk before he got on set.
I'm not
Peter Pan
surprised.
Man. Wow.
Christopher Walken played the
Guys,
worst
You
Captain
know,
Hook I've ever seen.
I saw Peter Pan, and he had a crocodile. It was this watch. He had this hunk of metal up his ass. 5 long
But
years.
the man actually can tap dance.
Yeah,
The man can
he's-
tap dance and the man can sing. It just
Uh,
he was drunk or whatever. I don't know what the problem was.
Weapon of Choice. Was that by Jamiroquai or is
Yes.
that by Fatboy Slim? Fatboy
That
Slim, yeah.
video is
Weapon of Choice
incredible.
music. He's a good. There was a
Yep.
thing a couple years ago on YouTube, and I think he did it. This was before you had really good production quality on YouTube, and it could have turned into a show, but it just wasn't the time. It was called Cooking with Walken, and he made
Yep.
chicken.
That's awesome.
But it was the creepiest thing because it was just like a dimly lit apartment building, and he just had, all right, we got the raw chicken and the carrots, and he just said it so it was just creepy to watch him do it. And then we put it in the oven. You're like, don't put it in the oven, you creep.
Did you see him do? He read The Three Little Pigs,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Yes.
third pig made his house out of bricks. Smart piggy.
He's great. For other creepy YouTube videos, there's a guy that makes sweet tea. That's
Sweet
and he just has this voice like you just take your water and you put your tea bags in it. And you're like, no,
my
I don't want
God.
you to tea bag. You're like, you just
And
give
you
it
Yeah,
a
that just
stir.
went really. That just went
Right, he's like,
really
and you
wrong.
just give it a stir. You just give
Samuel L. Jackson saying, "Go the fuck to sleep." I love that.
that's another one.
my
If you
favorite.
haven't
Hey,
heard
guys.
that one yet, you gotta see that.
Guys, we have
yes,
20
we should-
minutes.
Oh,
and
we should
5
address some
questions.
questions. Yes, I was going to ask about that a while ago, but we got off on one of our wonderful tangents. That when they pick us up on morning radio, they'll encourage us to go on. Busted Open Radio, we're coming for you.
Yep.
I heard on Twitter that Peter Rosenberg gets people onto his podcast by saying it's the ESPN wrestling podcast, but he's lying. So I saw that on Twitter earlier today. I don't know. Allegedly. There we go. I can't get sued. Allegedly. I saw it on Twitter.
There's reports.
Right. There are anonymous sources say.
Well, if it's on the internet, it's true. If it's on the internet, it's true.
I've seen so many quotes from Abraham Lincoln that I've never seen before. Thank you,
I
Internet.
know.
What the hell does your cup say?
It's the inscription for Cafe du Monde in New Orleans, which you all should go to at WrestleMania.
Oh,
I bought this mug there. I bought some coffee there. It's a good time. So Cafe du Monde, I'll give them the plug again. It's open 24 hours and it's always busy. So your questions, user questions. Listener
Okay,
questions.
so first we have Patrick from Newtown. Who
Patrick.
do we not want to see win the Royal Rumble?
that's a long
Roman
list.
Reigns.
Yeah,
Roman
that's a
Reigns.
Oh, wait. Men?
She's thinking she doesn't want to. I mean, we know who Amanda wants to win, and that's Braun. Yeah, see,
know-
but
I'm
Just
gonna get a
broad
country
walk out,
strong
bro.
tattoo.
Just broad-
is
You're
this?
gonna get Braun tattooed? Is that what you just said?
No,
Okay.
country strong.
Oh, you're gonna get the
Oh.
matching tattoo. That would be wonderful. So I think this
Like
is
so big in
appropriate. This song here, I'm gonna press a button, is for Patrick from Newtown.
Roman Reigns, the guy with the biggest pecs. Roman Reigns, the guy who has lots of sex. Roman Reigns.
So that is the long and the short answer for you.
Amen.
Yeah.
There are probably other choices. Like, does Randy Orton need another Royal Rumble victory?
I would prefer that over Roman Reigns.
I just want to be surprised. Like everyone, like nobody saw Ziggler coming. I want to be blown away, like somebody we would never expect to win the Rumble wins. But it's not. But it's going to be Rumble.
Lesnar, Aiden English, once in a lifetime.
It's Rusev Day.
Could you imagine he's singing his way to the fucking ring against Lesnar at WrestleMania?
What about Lesnar versus
Help
Rusev?
me!
Rusev
I don't want to die.
Yeah, he's singing. He doesn't want to die. But I think Ruru would be. I would love Rusev to win, and then actually win a championship. Like, get this train. The Ruru train has lost its momentum, and it keeps Ruru's momentum and Dolph Ziggler's momentum are kind of the same. They go up and down.
My 3-year-old son just heard me during the Aiden English thing. He just yelled Aiden English. My 3-year-old just yelled Aiden English from the other room.
So one of them drop kicks kids, and the other one just happens to know every wrestling thing.
Let's throw Jinder in that.
Oh wow! Please.
I will talk to you in the language of my people.
Only have
no one I want more.
That was his rematch. No Jinder.
That was a good match, though. You know what? I'll give those guys. AJ, I mean, AJ can wrestle with Bruck and Broomstick, but Jinder held his own. That was a good match.
New Day all together winning the Rumble. How about that?
New Day as a 3-man thing. Yeah. Or, you know what? I would be okay with Big E being the heavyweight champion and then those guys supporting him like the Shield. Because I think they should move on to bigger and better things. They deserve it. They've been putting butts in seats for years.
I would love to see a Freebird WWE title.
Ooh,
that's something we haven't seen.
Yeah, I think if you have a good, it's really about the matchup in terms of the two matches. So whether it's the Elimination Chamber or the Royal Rumble, you got to hope that whoever has the belt at the time, which it should be AJ and Lesnar. There shouldn't be any changes there. It should be those two holding until WrestleMania and then determining on which side who's the better matchup. I think Braun is the logical choice for Lesnar, unless they want to do Finn. All right, that could be a good one.
Finn should go to SmackDown.
Finn versus AJ.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. AJ Nakamura would be a good one.
But even just in general, like there's so much more options for Finn on SmackDown than there are for him in Raw.
Yeah,
I don't. In Raw. What I don't understand about this is they went through the trouble of signing like a quarter of the Bullet Club and then didn't do anything Bullet Club with them.
Maybe we'll get that in the Rumble, though. Maybe we'll get that in the Rumble.
The real rock and roller, Prince Devitt, with his fucking light up jacket that he had before Jericho had, and that would be because he was in Japan. He had all that stuff down as like the rock and roller character, and his face paint. That's the other thing I liked about Finn in Japan. His face paint would change every show, every big show, and he would do like Venom or Spider-Man.
They would be so awesome, yeah.
Right, and I know that the Joker was a real good one too, but WWE wants something they can brand, which is why they just have him do the Demon. But the face paint, I don't know. I think they should have him be the Demon, but then have the face paint be varied more.
Yeah,
like he does the black and metal.
When he came out in Texas, he was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was, leather.
Right, but then but it was still the same dreadlock things in his hair and all that.
Yeah.
So if they did they tried to do it with the pumpkin thing. The pumpkin thing I didn't really like. But if they did different, like who wanted to see your fucking, and it would be followed by like Byron or somebody going, well, back in Ireland before they used pumpkins, they would use turnips as jack-o'-lanterns.
Oh my God.
And
moving
Corey
right
would be
along.
Like, shut up, Byron. He's not a turnip.
What's the next question?
Thank you, Patrick.
Exactly. This one came to Twitter actually to Amanda, that Amanda was tagged. Travis from Florida, who should win the women's Royal Rumble, even though we kind of got that all got that
Yeah,
out
but I
already.
don't think we all really locked in an answer on who we think should win. We just talked about who might, Ronda's a strong possibility if she's a surprise. Asuka's a strong possibility because she's undefeated. But I mean,
Nia because of her size.
yeah, well, of course, you can't underestimate somebody's size. The tallest person in the Rumble wins it every year, according to Nicole.
Always.
I love when they do that.
I tell you-
Nicole will say it, and then that person will go get eliminated like 2 minutes later.
By like 50
If
people.
Trish is gonna say, if Trish is doing it, I gotta go with Trish.
Ooh.
Mm.
And then she puts over whoever it is to kind of pass the torch, like a Rock Cena moment.
Yep.
Okay.
Trish versus either of the women would be awesome.
Yeah, I think that because she's as long as Kat mentioned it earlier, as long as whoever they pick from the surprise entrance is ready to roll and ready to work and they can wrestle.
Right.
They have to be able to do everything that's required. Now I'm talking about Ronda too, and I know she's training wrestling right now, and she's been a fan, and she pretty much knows what she's doing in terms of grappling and all of that. Although if her jiu-jitsu was better, she would have won more of her UFC fights, but that's neither here nor there. But she knows what she's doing.
But she can put her 5 minutes in and still put on a great show.
That's what I'm saying. As long as she's able to do that, I don't want her going out there and tripping over herself and look, because that does nobody any good. They have to make sure she's ready to go. And I think because she's
a pro, she'll
right.
be ready.
She'll know.
Exactly.
She'll say if she's not ready. She'll say she's not ready. But so is it Ronda? Is it Asuka? Who do we think here? Those are the front
I
runners.
would love to see
Those have
Asuka
to be the front runners.
throw out like 13 people.
I got to go with Asuka.
Yeah, Asuka's still my pick.
Because that could be a thing where like one of those girls, either Asuka or Ronda, goes on a hot streak, like you say, eliminating like 12, 13 people, and the other one comes up from behind, whoop, surprises in the old Rumble 92 kind of deal, except without Sid pulling on Hogan. Just a Rumble 92 where you eliminate somebody and then they throw you out right after.
Yeah.
Quick elimination like that would set up a match down the line with those two. And then maybe if you wanted to have, let's say Asuka dumps out Ronda and Asuka wins. Ronda goes and beats Charlotte at Elimination Chamber or something, or somebody, and then you've got Ronda Asuka anyway, but flip,
Yeah.
and then Asuka wins at WrestleMania. I don't know. There's the good thing is we've got enough women's wrestlers where you can do something like this and it'll work. So I'm happy. Whoever wins, as long as it's not like Carmella
Yeah.
or
There's no reason for Carmella to win as long as she's still
Right.
Money in the Bank. So
Yeah.
that's
She's
a safe
winning.
one.
Loses the match at Mania, then cashes in and then wins.
oh my god. I'm really afraid of a Carmella cash in at WrestleMania.
I am too.
That's one of my main concerns about going to that show this year. But anyway, who asked that question? Thank you very much.
That was from Travis, and if that happens, Vince, I'll meet you at the bar.
Right? Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of them nearby.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'll meet you at the bar when that happens.
Yeah. So literally like a block
Leave order
away.
with
there's
somebody.
there's
Yeah,
like a
I'll
two-level
leave order
bar.
with someone and meet you. No problem.
Excellent. So thank you for the question.
That
What
was
is that?
Travis.
Thank you,
Blake
Travis. And what
from
was the next one?
Blake from Wisconsin wants to know, should there be a tag team Royal Rumble?
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, that's
Too
good.
chaotic.
I'm going to go with no. I'm sorry.
If there was
I
a way
agree.
to do it that made sense,
Yeah.
I think it would be cool. But I don't.
Well, you know how you could do it. You could do where, if one member of the tag team gets eliminated, you're both eliminated. So they all have to work together to try and keep them in.
still work
I
together.
mean, that's
Yeah,
a way to do it.
that could work. I mean, it would take
Maybe a tag team battle royal, but I don't know about a tag team Royal Rumble because I don't think there's enough tag teams.
Yeah, and you wouldn't really. I don't think you'd put it on when you have the singles Royal Rumble. That would take away from the specialness of the singles Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I agree.
You need 15 teams.
But it would be a good idea and maybe they have done that before. But you could do it on like SmackDown or Raw to determine a new number one contender and do it with 5 or 6 teams. And so you've got 12 guys in the ring or whatever. And then like Steve said, if one gets dumped, you're out too. So you and your partner have to make sure. And there could be spots where like somebody's going out and their partner like goes over and saves him or pushes. You know, there's a lot of things you could do with that. So it's not a terrible idea. It's just that I don't think it wouldn't benefit the Royal Rumble pay-per-view to have a tag team Royal Rumble, especially when now you have 2 Royal Rumble matches. But it would be something good for TV. Thank you for the question. Very good questions this week. Let's keep going.
Yeah, very good.
So, here's our humorous one for the week. Arnie from California, and actually Eric already got this information.
Arnie from California.
Do we know who the screaming jobber from SmackDown last week is?
No, but that was fucking hilarious.
Eric solves the mystery.
So good.
By far one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I must have played that about 30 times.
A million times.
I can't even get that pitch. Where I found it out because I don't remember.
You said it was Joe something. I'm gonna try and scroll up.
Man something or whatever I think his name was.
He put his 15 seconds to use.
I don't care. It was hilarious, man. That's better than anything James Ellsworth did in an entire year.
Oh, come on. James Ellsworth was when AJ Styles put him in the chin lock and he slipped out of it because he doesn't have a chin.
It still was. I thought I was hearing things. I thought one of my kids did something. And then I'm realizing, no, it's the guy on the TV. I had to rewind it like 3 times.
Wow.
His name is Joe Monroe. He's the Chikara Grand Champion.
Chikara Grand Champion. And I used to know the Chikara Grand Champions back when I followed Chikara. Wow. So congratulations to you, sir, for making the big time, at least for a segment there. You'll be memorable. The thing is, he knew if he did some shit like that, people would talk about it and he'd get noticed. So that's perfect. I approve of people doing stuff like that. Get noticed. Right, exactly. Ellsworth, a man, any man with 2 hands has a fighting chance.
All right. So do we want to go with because we have another question come in just like a couple of minutes after the show started. Do we want to go with another serious question or do we want to go with the elephant in the room question that I posted?
Hey, that's not nice. She's not an elephant.
I didn't call her an elephant.
Well, now we can
have this
question.
So what
now we got to do it.
Okay. So how do I, as a plus-sized female, approach a guy with semi-celebrity status without seeming like a stalker or a crazed fan? Thank you, Barbara.
Who's the celebrity?
I don't know who the celebrity is.
I emailed her back to find out who the celebrity is, and she didn't respond. I was kind of hoping she was going to say it was one of you guys on the show or something.
I still think it is.
See, it could be the way she said it, semi-celebrity. That really, I mean, you're giving us too much credit if you're saying semi-celebrity, but thank you.
We're full-on celebrity.
I honestly thought it was writing from the perspective of Nia Jax talking about Enzo.
Ooh, yes. Well, so here's a couple things that I want to get out there. This is 2017, soon to be 2018. You have to be discerning in the way that you address people of the opposite sex. Let me put it this way: if you say something to somebody in private, are you okay with them screenshotting it and sending it to your boss or your grandma?
Yeah.
Like this question.
Right. So just you have to be discerning and be careful in the language that you choose, just because, and again, it's different because she's a woman and men are held to kind of a different creepy standard right now. But again, you don't want to be too forward. She's right. You don't want to come off like a creeper or stalker. The follow-up question is who's the celebrity? And 2, define plus size, because like we talk about it every week on the show.
Define the stalking. What are you doing?
Yeah. But if you're plus size, like
I don't think
that shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Nia Jax is considered plus size, and she's a very pretty, very athletic girl for and she's tall, and it's not like she's fat thing. She is just plus sized. If there's an issue that you recognize within yourself that you want to better, and you want to lose weight on your own, go for it. Don't think in your head, hey, if I get real fit, this guy's going to notice me. That's probably not going to happen. anyway, you know, because that's just not one-to-one correlations like that are not how the world works. So do what's healthy for you in terms of your body and your height and your weight, because there are people who can healthily carry more weight and you carry it in different places. And it's not a looks thing, because you can still be aesthetic and you can still be pretty and be a bigger size person. Nia Jax, like I said, proves that. Karma, Awesome Kong proves that you can be a bigger girl and still be pretty. So on the flip side of that, people are interested in what they're interested in, and if they're not interested in you, you also have to respect that. Like if a guy gets rejected by a girl and he goes, "You bitch, slut," that's just, it doesn't accomplish anything. That is you being a douchebag after getting rejected, and girls should show the same, you know, the same kind of discretion. If they get rejected, whether it's politely or rudely by somebody, they can understand that it just didn't work out and you're going to find somebody. I want to know, Barbara, whoever you are, we need to know more.
Yes.
It was so vague that we want to know. We want to help. We do want to help.
Come on the show. Come on the show. We'd love to have you.
Are you Barb from Stranger Things? You can bring the Christmas.
That's what I was thinking. It was Barb from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So definitely Barb. Listen, we're the saga of Barb, as far as I'm concerned, is not over, because we're going to get some follow-up questions and answers, and we're going to pursue this, because if she wants to meet somebody on this show or talk to somebody on this show, we can probably make it happen. Oh, you know what? Another thing is probably important is age. The age of the person they're interested in, and this person's age. Because again, people are into what they're into. If you're into an older person, you know, I know guys who are into older women, and I know, you know, it's just taste. So we want to help you, Barb. It sounds like a fun project. We're trying to figure out if you're a serial killer or not, which is also a fun little mystery.
Yep.
Because
Because
if her follow-up email is like, "I want to follow around Enzo and wear his skin," it's like, okay, you see where this is going.
Would you do me? I did.
Goodbye, horses.
Is it wrong that I just got like the Biz Marquee song stuck in my head after this?
Oh no, it's perfectly. You got what I need. Oh man, that is perfect. And there is nothing wrong with being friends with someone. There's no problem with being friends with someone.
That just popped right in. Okay,
thank you,
do
Barbara.
have one more question.
One more question. Thank you, Barbara. Barbara's up there for the fucking question of the month, I swear.
Yeah, I think she's up for question of the year. I think she needs to get one of our awards.
2017 year-end award goes to Barb.
Yeah, for Barb. Yep. Okay, so Crystal from Crystal from New Hampshire wants to know, how would we do the pairings for the Facebook challenge mix-ups?
I'm glad we got to that. Because that is coming up.
Talk about the Facebook.
The mixed match challenge, first of all, is a very interesting prospect for the WWE, because there's not a lot of programming on Facebook right now.
Yeah.
The first one I heard of was Ball in the Family, about Lonzo Ball. And yeah, but that was I think that was one of the first produced programs that was for the quote unquote like Facebook television network or whatever they're calling it. So it's going to be interesting because it reaches out to people that don't have cable, and it reaches out to people who might not want to buy TV service to see wrestling. A lot of people watch stuff on their phones now and their tablets, and they have smart TVs and streaming devices and Fire Sticks, etc. So it's an opportunity to branch out to a different market, and it brings an advertising revenue, and it's a test because I heard that their deal with USA Network actually right now is undervalued by about 50%.
Oh wow.
So they're looking around, and maybe they're talking about Facebook or YouTube potentially being the new network for Raw live every week, Raw and SmackDown.
Cool.
Wow.
If a cable network doesn't pick them up, because they're saying something like, the numbers might be off, but I heard it was like a $200 million deal from USA to WWE. And right now, with the way WWE is booming, and they have doubled their business in the last year. They went from 1.2 or $3 billion in revenue to 2.7. So it's overall a plus. But it's a $200 million deal with USA. They're saying that the WWE's next deal could go for as much as $400 million.
Wow.
To the right bidder. So if Facebook throws them enough money, you're watching the shit on Facebook. But
that's so crazy.
it's weird to me because it's mixed. It's men and women tagging together.
Did you see who some of these groups are, though? It's interesting.
Well, Braun and Nia, how do they not just give them the check?
Well, apparently it's the fans that decide. You have to interact with the
Oh, okay, because
Facebook and the groups and
You
all
have
that.
to pick who you want to be the pairs.
Want to be the
Like,
pair.
do we want to see Rusev and Lana? Do we want to see the married couples together?
Right. Well,
I actually
we want
do.
to face each other. No, I'd rather them face each other.
But they can't. They're on the same show. They're both on SmackDown.
yeah, but
So
they would.
Rusev and
But even if they get different teammates, they would. Or is it
Is
Raw?
it-
a Raw
is it
team, or
Raw-
SmackDown team?
Raw versus
Team
SmackDown. They're not facing each other on the same show.
I
So, like,
see.
Jimmy and Naomi can be a tag team, and they have to face
Oh, okay,
someone
then yeah, I
on
want that.
Raw.
Then they'd want them together.
Like,
Now,
Jimmy and Naomi can take on, like, Asuka and Finn Balor.
Cool.
now they've teased this, and WWE does this because it's a scripted product, and they have an idea of where they want to go. With these online votes, a lot of times it's like, do you want a street fight, a no holds barred, or a whatever? And they're all like 3 variations on the same thing.
Yeah.
On social media, Nia Jax has been pushing she wants to tag with Braun. Becky's been saying she wants to tag with Sammy, and Bailey wants to tag with Finn.
Yep.
No,
So
Finn
those
wants to tag with Bailey, actually.
well,
Goldust was
see Bailey sitting in the background during Finn's video. It was really good. He's like, "Oh, I don't know. You just surprised me. I'm just sitting here while you pulled the whole camera crew up. I don't know what's going on. I'm just sitting and catering. Wait, I don't know who I'm gonna pick." And then Bailey like jumps out of nowhere, like, "I want to be a writer."
Well, did you ever see Bailey do Finn's entrance and then Finn did Bailey's entrance?
Yes, and that's. Could you imagine that they do the Bailey their entrance together, so they have it timed that when the music hits, the fucking tube men pop up and then go back down and then go back up again?
That'd be
In time to
Men
the
or
music?
demons? How about if the two men are demons?
They
Oh
can-
my god, Demon buddies.
Right, they would be, and instead of the red and black, they would have Bailey's colors on the tassels and everything.
Demon
be
buddies.
Bailey. Oh my God, that'd be great.
Finn Bailey.
Finn Bailey. Finn Bailey is the team. They just call it Finn Bailey.
There you go.
And
Finn
then there's the
Bailey.
They
possibility of,
dressed up as each other for Halloween this year.
Slap it on the lunchbox and make
and then
millions.
That's right.
there's the possibility of Nia and Enzo.
Oh, Nia and Enzo as the couple team. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
teased the Goldust Asuka thing. The video is hysterical.
Yeah, that's funny.
Now, what if this is all? It's a swerve, bro, as Vince Russo would say, and she's trying to get Enzo to set her up with Drew, and that's how Drew and Enzo end up feuding against each other,
Gabagool.
right? And she wants a piece of the gabagulak instead of whatever. And then of course he would have to say something about, well, when you get in bed with him, there's just one word to describe him. You know what I mean? He's going to talk about his soft penis.
And it's soft. God. Oh my God.
Oh, geez. So it is. This is the 8th crazy night, so we should get things wrapped up soon. But I do have one more question
Wrapped up.
regarding the mixed match challenge. Because it's mixed tag matches, it's not intergender matches. So if a woman tags in, the other woman has to come in, and vice versa. Correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that's how it should be.
It's
Yeah.
because I don't want to see Braun wrestle a woman. I don't want to see any of the guys wrestle women. I don't want. It's just not something I'm into. Even on the indies, I don't like it. To me, it's uncomfortable. It gives off like a domestic violence vibe.
Yeah.
I would rather see an athletic competition between 2 men or 2 women. Yeah,
Depends on the wrestler and depends on the woman.
like China. Yeah, I get that. And like there are certain what Ronda could do.
Underground. Like, I don't know if I like this.
Well, no,
I
like
don't-
when Sherry Martel used to take bumps from guys, it never bothered anybody.
Well, take a Hogan atomic drop.
Yeah,
It was,
but
it was a
That's
different
right.
time
Match.
too.
Yeah,
it was a different
That's
time.
true.
because
That's true.
could you imagine the complaints if what would happen?
Got heat for his tweet a couple of days ago.
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, he said something about, he mentioned aliens or whatever, just get out of my, they thought he was sexist because they're like, man,
Yeah.
woman, or alien, get out of my way, and it's like, no.
he
No,
said
he said,
Yeah.
anyone
No,
who's
he
his
said
partner
about-
just needs to hold the towel.
yeah, he has a permanent
Yeah, hold my towel.
towel person.
He should.
All
That
right,
would-
guys, SmackDown started.
yeah, he should have a towel boy. All right, so it is the last night of Hanukkah. Mazel to all of
Happy
you.
Hanukkah.
Wonderful.
Mazel, mazel.
Jews.
Good.
Tell your
yeah,
friend
so
Veronica, have a happy, sorry.
L'chaim to life, as they say. We'll close out. Thank you for the questions. Who was that last question from?
That last question came from Crystal in New Hampshire.
Excellent. Thank you, Crystal in New Hampshire. So we're getting questions from all over now. And of course, the questions get entered into our end of the month question the month. And if you are the lucky winner of our question the month, it could be the best question. It could be the most interesting question, whatever you want to call it. So if you win, you get a free pick to WrestleRumble.com. WrestleRumble.com is one of our great partners. Amanda's part of WrestleRumble.com. They've got some great prizes for their pick'ems. It doesn't cost that much to enter. You can get like 1, 2, or 3 picks and whatever, 1, 3, and 5, something like that. It's crazy. You can just pick a bunch of shit and then you can win a prize. And it's like $500 cash or something this month.
Well, just for the Clash of Champions, it was $500 cash, and you got the winged belt. So
That's
actually,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you go to WrestleRumble.com if you entered to see how you did for Clash of Champions.
Spectacular, then.
Yeah, the Rumble pick'ems are always fun because I know Rumble is going to add some other prop bets and crazy stuff. So it's going to be fun, and there are prizes. There's not a very high cost to entry at all.
No.
So check it out, WrestleRumble.com. And of course, speaking of cost to enter, tagmeadate.com is still free. As much as I tell Steve to start charging money so we can do this podcast off of a boat somewhere, it is free, and it will remain free. The apps are being developed. I just heard the app talk before the show. Steve is dedicating his days off to making sure that this app sees the light of day, Android and iPhone. And it's going to improve your overall experience. Right now, I can just tell you from being on dating websites, which is just they're just
awful.
Okay, Cupid changed their app recently, and it's the worst. It is the worst in the world. I almost like it's really terrible. Like it used to be simple to use, and they keep making it more and more complicated. And now it's just overcomplicated to shit. So don't use OK.
All the
Cupid.
apps are awful.
Yeah, they're not great. Plenty of Fish when I used it wasn't great. Yeah, so tagmeadate.com is
I use
free.
desktop for those anyway.
You didn't use the Jewish. What's the Jewish one?
J-Date.
J-Date. Yeah.
There you go.
Which Steve will admit at first he didn't know it had anything to do with Jewish people.
There's also one where you can go after Asian women. It's a similar thing where it's like if you're specifically into Asians or specifically into particular. But we're looking for people who are more discerning. You're looking for a wrestling fan. Your tag team match at tagmeadate.com. You can find your tag team partner of life, I suppose, if you want to go that committed with it. But tagmeadate.com is free. We've got a very large roster of superstars and divas that you can check through by zip code, by area, by wrestler, favorite pay-per-view, all kinds of good stuff. The chat and Messenger is very similar to Facebook Messenger. You can send emojis and animations and all that crap that kids do today. I'm too old for that. Right? Yeah, and the promo video, which, everybody else copied us, and I want you to take this very seriously when I say this. Everybody copied us. We were the first dating site ever to do promo videos that you could upload instead of a profile picture. Facebook does it now. OkCupid does it now. Some other ones do it now. Guess what? They all fell behind. Mark Zuckerberg ain't got shit on us.
Amen.
We did it first. And then, like everything else, Mark Zuckerberg stole it. We still remember the Winklevoss twins, you bastard. So we did it first. I didn't watch the movie. I know nothing about the Winklevoss twins other than there are 2 of them. But we remember all the more solidarity. We did it first. We did it best, frankly, because we did it first. That's how it works. Yeah. Tagmeadate.com.
It always works.
It's like who landed on the moon. We don't give a shit about the Russians. They came in second. We landed on the moon first. We put that flag.
We planted a flag there.
It was the Tagmeadate flag. We planted it long and hard. But tagmeadate.com.
Oh God, we planted it long and hard.
Oh God.
This is
long, hard, deep.
It is free. Loving. It's free to use. We're gonna have mobile apps. It's a fun time because you already know if you want to go to a wrestling show and you want to take this person, man or woman, whomever, you can do it. And there's no kind of awkward, hey, I'm a wrestling fan. Oh, is that shit fake? I hate all that. Oh yeah, don't is it fake? It's like
what, that fake shit?
Right, and then it's like, well, you want to say, oh, I didn't know Kiefer Sutherland knew how to defuse a bomb, motherfucker. Like, come on now. Kiefer Sutherland is not the president of the United States. It's fiction.
And then you can propose like
That
Randy
is a
Savage
good
did
show,
for
though.
That's a great show. I don't even know the name of it. I just call it the Jack
Designated
Bauer is the
Survivor.
president.
The Jack Bauer experience.
Designated Survivor.
I still call him President Jack Bauer when I see him on the screen for that show. It is a very good show, though. But check out tagmeadate.com, the only dating site for wrestling fans, the first one. We did the first video promos. We did all that stuff. You should check it out, tagmeadate.com. It's free. What the hell? It takes a couple minutes to sign up. Not going to waste too much time. And you can also check out the Tag Me a Date podcast. If you stuck with us for the whole hour, it takes you could register for Tag Me a Date like 12 times at least in the time that it take, maybe 20 times, 30 times. You know, it only takes about 2 minutes to sign up. So you already sat through the podcast. You might as well go sign up. But go check out the War Report on YouTube. I'm giving them great reasons. I'm giving them logic here. I'm trying to speak to somebody on a base, like on a logical level here, not advertising, just like this makes sense for you. You've already sat
You're
through
the
our
voice of
podcast.
reason.
That's what I've been waiting for my entire life. I've never been called the voice of reason before. It feels good to be validated.
And it'll never happen again.
Yes, you go to youtube.com and you type in Tag Me a Date. You'll get to the Tag Me a Date channel. You can like and subscribe. Hit the bell for mobile notifications or push notifications on your mobile device when we upload a video or go live. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. we do the War Report. 7 p.m. on Eastern time, so adjust your schedule accordingly. You can send emails to AskTheWarReport@gmail.com, and if your question gets read on the air, you're entered into our Wrestle Rumble Pick'em contest, where you get a free entry. And just stay tuned, because we're going to be back next Tuesday talking more professional wrestling and the goings-on in pro wrestling on the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for wrestling fans. So next Tuesday, 7 p.m., we will see you there. Thank you for tuning in to the War Report.